might be back now. I think, yeah. Okay. First of all, never doing this again from college campus. I have learned that the hard way. Never trying to stream like this. But okay, well, first of all, thank you guys for doing this. Thank you guys for putting up with this. Like this incredibly scuffed setup because obviously I've never done it from here, but it's like obviously, thank you again just for doing this. So yeah, it's goofy. Chat saying it's still there, but hey, worst comes to worst, I'll figure something out here. So okay, okay. So getting into the interview now, do you want to just quick introduce yourselves to the chat, to the rest of the scene who are tuning in today?
Miles, you can go first.
Oh boy. Okay. My name is Miles. I guess my gamer tag is that big brown boy. And I guess I'm the team captain for OUA. And yeah. No.
My name's William. I am the OUA vice captain. I say I'm not from Texas. I lived in Texas, unfortunately. I'm a meteorology major here at OU. We're almost our entire team's freshmen, so we're all very new to this. Yeah, actually, we'll get to that later. But yeah, we're all just getting set up with this just now. So, well, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Taikadessa Michelle is our ambassador. She's also team staff. I don't know what she's doing today, but she's going to be playing tonight with us against CSUF. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's all we have to say about ourselves.
Well, glad to hear. That goes right into my first question because that whole thing about you all being freshmen is like, or the majority of you being freshmen is like crazy to me. So, how did you guys get involved with like competitive Mario Kart in general? And how exactly did this team come together? Especially with you all being like freshmen, it's a new team. So, really interested to hear what it's been like for you guys.
Yeah, so funnily enough, so we're the OU has a very, very involved and well-established esports program. Thanks, Moog, by the way. He's a cool dude, manages everything. And so this week for our freshman orientation, the esports club held a black box event where they had Smash tournaments and Mario Kart tournaments at the same time. It was freshmen only, and it was like we had this big like book or whatever of things we could do during our orientation week. And so it was one of those events, and I was like, shit, I've been getting into Mario Kart Wii lately. You know, I played some competitive CTGP this spring.
Ooh.
And so I showed up to the freshman event. I swear to God, I sat down next to Miles and asked, do you want to play a game or do you want to play around? And he was like, sure. And that's how we met. And we met almost the entire rest of our team through that freshman event and through another tournament next week as part of their beginning of the year open house. So that's why most of our team is freshmen, but just because we met so many of them through that one event. Although there is one freshman who got away who was better than all of us at that first tournament, but I won't name drop him. We haven't been able to find him since.
Yeah, that first tournament is how most of us met each other, and it was real fun. None of us had ever done anything competitive. We were all just casual players. I think we only have one person on our team that's been like experienced in Mario Kart competitive scene.
Oh no, we had two because because Tobias played or Toby, I guess, played for his high school team, and I think one of our you haven't seen her much on our roster, but Cortana Brine, she was the, I believe, championship or runner up in the state of New Mexico with her high school team. So no. But yeah, the rest of us have had absolutely zero competitive experience. We barely got signed up for this. We barely got our Wi-Fi working because campus Wi-Fi doesn't work for us either. A lot like those Iona players. And so we just had to figure that all out. Again, thanks Moog for helping us get the hotspot and shit set up. It was very hectic, and none of us had any idea we had no idea what we were doing. So getting started with that and like getting everything set up and learning how to actually function as a team, yeah, that was really like we barely practiced 6v6 before the season started, which I think might be why we dropped our first match against Iona, but Iona is a very good team regardless. So
No, that's great insight, honestly. Like, I relate very much to the idea of we're going to use like some campus event as like the biggest, like, this is how we're going to meet players. That's how I recruited the person who ended up taking my spot as captain for Moravian. That's basically how a lot of my recruitment was like just campus events. And I love that, like, because a lot of you are freshmen, you kind of just met each other through that. And that's like really like, I love, someone said in the chat, it's like, "Oh, woo, it's a love story." And I'm like, in a way, I could see it like that. It's so like fitting, honestly, like that just by like happenstance that y'all just kind of meant to like meet each other through like Mario Kart as like freshmen, and like especially like coming in, going from the transition from high school to college. I did esports immediately when I went to college as a freshman, so it was like I understand the whole thing. That's a great way to find your people, stuff like that. So really happy to hear it for you guys, and like I know you guys mentioned you haven't practiced 6v6 beforehand. Like none of you are like really incredibly experienced outside of like maybe a couple high school players who played in the play versus format and all that. But like you guys are having a phenomenal year so far, and I'm excited to see what you guys are doing going in for the rest of the season. So, going on to the next question. So, because you guys are like a very or relatively new team, especially because like I remember you mentioned it was hectic getting you all registered, getting hectic just trying to get people. What have you guys been doing to like make that jump going from like casual to competitive?
Miles does more specifically with actually. I guess Miles, you can talk about like what we're doing with OU esports in that regard, and I'll talk about sort of the team side of that.
Like going from casual to competitive.
Yeah. Like you can talk about like what we're trying to do with the program in the future. I think.
So yeah, most of us are all just casual players, and going into competitive with the program and stuff, we're all like, I don't know, we're just all trying to really get into it and kind of see what it's like. For me personally, I've really enjoyed playing Mario Kart like casually, and I never really even thought I would do it competitively. And I think a lot of us are like that. Um, and we just, I don't know. I'm not good at answering
Okay.
questions like that. I don't know, William. You get this one.
Okay. So I think a big part of it jumping from casual to competitive as a team is honestly CMKL is really it's really opened up this world for us because we just met doing that casual. It was a very competitive tournament, but none of us had really played before. And so we met through that, and we immediately knew, like, we used the organization of esports here, and we just all got together and we sort of talked with the coach here, Thumper, and we were like, yeah, we want to start a Mario Kart team. And he just found CMKL for us. We couldn't even find it. I swear to God, I tried searching over so many things, but none of us have experience with MKC or MKU or anything. So we didn't really know where to start, but they found this for us. And now that we're in CMKL, I'm going to try to get us into MKC, some 6v6 tournaments, maybe just some free-for-all stuff over the winter break. Yeah, so that's it's sort of just been like CMKL has really been the jumping off point for us, for everybody here jumping from casual to competitive. Although I briefly tried to get involved with very competitive Mario Kart Wii, because that's how I got into the MKA, is because I just was so good at Wii. But I'm not gonna lie, Mario Kart 8 being an actively updated game with netcode that doesn't require hacking your console to do, it's a lot more accessible. Plus, my campus Wi-Fi does not work at all with my Wii, so that's part of it too. But yeah, actually, a lot of us are Wii players, but that's neither here nor there. So, and as for the actual esports side, jumping from casual to competitive, we're trying to go from being an academy team this year to varsity next year. So we have a lot more perks, and we're a lot more involved in the community, and we're just very competitive with recruiting and all that. Because we really want to try to grow this program, since we're off to such a hot start. It's like we clearly have the talent. We are absolutely capable of taking on the better teams, I think, once we are more involved and have better practice and etc. Like, yeah.
Yeah, love to hear that from you guys, honestly. And I'm really happy to hear that CMKL has like really helped find these like new schools to like really develop these teams. Like, so I don't know if you guys knew this, but I was the first person to start a college Mario Kart team. So and when back then before CMKL, this was like 2021, it was MKC or nothing, and it was much harder to like get into like
Yeah, yeah.
anything because of that, because you're jumping immediately into like teams that are like really good and like are all over the world. So like I'm really happy that CMKL has been like that little bridge, I guess, to go from casual to competitive. And you guys have been having like an insane run this entire season so far, and you're one of like the standout teams, I would say. Like talk looking at Division 3, just amazing play that I've been seeing just watching the results. So talk to me about like your games like this season so far. You don't have to go into a crazy amount of detail, but just talk to me about what it's been like for you guys this season.
Miles, you want to take this one? I can if you don't want to.
Yeah, I will. This is a much easier question to answer for me. Um, so, like, um, games for us were actually really weird at first. We didn't really know what we were doing, and the first match, I think we were all really like worried because we had no idea what to expect, and we were having Wi-Fi issues, and I think a lot of people were at that time. But it was just, I don't know. Matches have been fun. We're trying to get better team communication. I think a lot of us are still like getting used to 6v6 and not just free for alls, and
Yeah, yeah.
um, a lot of people focus on playing online, and it's. I mean, I don't know. You got anything else to add, William?
Yeah, like Miles said, we're all still getting used to the format a lot. But we're a pretty loosey goosey team, I think, in terms of how we
Mm-hmm.
just act around each other. Like we're very tight knit. So see, we have communication fuck ups, like not crazy often, but you know, it happens. It happens. And but we don't get angry at each other. It's like we don't beat ourselves up over it. Like our loss to get Iona, we knew they're a good team. We had no expectations of like this crazy amount of success at the very start. But so yeah, we were learning to communicate was very interesting as a team together because we already have all our our unique call signs now that I'm not sure I can say. Yeah, it's. I think team bonding. We always play in person. We practice together in person because campus Wi-Fi has forced us to. So we're all good friends now, which has really helped us like, get accustomed to this format. I think. But also we're learning off of each other. Like we're learning lessons from each other constantly. Like somebody will notice if they did something bad or good, and they'll just be like, "Hey, I think we should do this going forward." Like, and that's part of passing it on, I think, too, because we're still recruiting actively for next season. So we're
Mm-hmm.
still we're trying to get more players with who can learn from us and be as good as us, better than us, you know. Because we're all just trying to uplift each other as a team. Because like, yeah, and I think that's how we succeed not only as a team but with every single player individually, and we're just trying to have a good time. So
Yeah, I'd love to hear that too. I'm also so happy, like unreasonably happy to hear that a lot of you like that you play in person when you can. Because when I played at college, we played in person. We connected online just because this is the only room on campus that allows us to have like a wired connection. So it was like really fun, like just getting a chance to play in person. Like personally, for me, playing in person is so much more different compared to like playing online over Discord. And there's just so much, especially with like team camaraderie and all that, that it's like it just feels so much better. So I'm happy to hear that you guys are like really connecting as a team, especially as like freshmen, because like yeah, you're recruiting already for the future, but like you have such a bright future thinking about it, like you're all freshmen, so it's like this team you have like a core that's going to develop a long time up until your seniors, assuming everyone stays. Hopefully that's the case, but and like preferably
right,
probably into like MK9 or whatever at that point you get. That'll be a really
yeah.
cool experience then too. So you mentioned like jumping, especially like going into the competitive scene. One of the hardest things is like adjusting to the 6v6 format. So how has that been for you guys? Like going from like yeah, we talked about casual to competitive, but how has 6v6 especially been like something to work around for you?
I'm not gonna lie. I think a very large part of our success is the 6v6 format. So don't switch back to free for all because, like all of our players on our team are very good at like free for all and whatnot. But as a team, because we have like you were talking about earlier on stream, we have that incredible depth where our entire like starting like 8, 9, just very solid players. Like we can all compete at the same level pretty much. And so with that, we're able to we have a very solid, like, I wouldn't say defense, but I've noticed in a lot of actually, I don't want to get too deep in the scouting report, but we're very capable of maintaining, like, we're good at stopping the other teams from really harming our positions, And that's why I think you'll see a lot of our finishes have been like just start strong, end strong, like individual races, GPs, and the whole thing, and the whole Mogi. But yeah, that teamwork and also being in person, like you're talking about, it really enables us to not uplift each other, but like stop each other from getting just like dogged on constantly. Which, yeah, because in free for all, you can have like 2 bad races in a row and you're done. But the way we structure it, yeah, we're very capable of protecting each other and getting that defense and working as a team, which is why we're so good at 6v6. At least in my opinion. I don't know.
Sorry, just gave me a chance to process all that, but that's actually really insightful stuff. Like as someone who like loves the 6v6 format and cannot stand like free for all, honestly, in comparison, I know that's how the game is like originally intended, whatever you want to call it, but it's like there's something about playing as a team that like, especially like your whole point about defense, especially is something that that really shines when you get to play in like a team setting. Like, oh, you can protect the people in front of you and all that. What plays are you making and stuff like that with formation and stuff. And like the game becomes so much deeper. Like it's already a game that's like deceptively deep, but the game becomes so much deeper at the 6v6 level. So I think it's like
Yeah.
really creative and just really amazing just seeing like what kind of happens here. And I love that like, even newer teams are really starting to notice that it's like there's so much to this game, especially in a team setting that doesn't really necessarily get like as much spotlight compared to like, oh, the crazy racing lines, the crazy shortcuts. But team play especially is just one of my favorite things about this game. So I'm happy to see that hear from you guys that you guys similar philosophy.
Yeah. We're very team oriented just overall because we're always trying to make sure because we originally at the start, I'll take the hit for this. I had this hyper competitive spreadsheet where I tracked the results for every single match, or like not every single match, but every competitive match everybody on the team played, and to determine who would be the best, who would play in the matches. But what that ended up doing is it promoted certain players over others. People got into these, like, they got very locked into being this quote starting roster. And it made a lot of people feel like they weren't being included. And, we're a team together. I want to make sure everybody's happy on the team. And so I just got rid of the spreadsheet because somebody was like, yeah, the spreadsheet sucks. So I was like, okay, spreadsheet's gone. And now we just, before we muster everybody or as many people as we can every single match, and before we just like play, and whoever plays the best gets in. So it's entirely day of merit based. Yeah, it's because I tried to moneyball it really hard, but I realized that's just not that's not how you play as a team. You can't prioritize single people over others.
Having those pre-game qualifiers for who gets to play has been much easier, and
Yeah.
it accounts for people having off days, for people not feeling it. Maybe they're tired, and if they don't do well in our pre-match qualifier, then that accounts for that, and that's okay.
Right, and they could just play next week. And most people
Mhm.
understand, like, if you like, it's a much closer like relationship between like you play well, you play in the game and you play well. Like, and we've definitely observed that, and that was partially inspired because in our first few weeks of matches, we were picking these players based off the spreadsheet, who were in theory better than all the rest, but who had like a very bad day, like just straight up like they were in a bad mood or something, or they didn't get much sleep, or they had like a migraine, so they just didn't play up to their normal standard, and so we took a hit on a bunch of points because of that. But and somebody else on the team who maybe should have played in their place wasn't able to, and yeah, so we're trying to maximize the opportunity and both while also maximizing like the skill of our team at the same time doing that. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what the original question was, but
Same.
It's okay. That was a bit of an offshoot question because I really like the stuff there. I appreciate the Moneyball reference also. So I like the whole like there's a lot of depth honestly. So I manage my own team in like MKU and all that. So I understand like picking lineups is can be very difficult. So like even hearing about a spreadsheet, I'm like, okay, I've heard people do that before. There was once I have a teammate, not even a necessarily teammate, but someone I know who's like had this crazy program to determine like what tracks is this team good on that takes into account results from every single match they've played and like whether or not like what kind of like points they do. So yeah, there's a lot of thought that goes into the game.
yeah,
And
yeah,
honestly, like I love your whole idea of like a qualifier, like going into the lineups because it's like, oh, whoever's playing well on that day gets to play. And I think it's really
right,
like there's a lot of like how you are that day, like your mood, your like motivations,
hmm
your like just being like, are you physically like okay to play? That matters more, I think, than like
yeah, yeah,
someone who's going to be like, oh, they're good every day of the week, but like this day they're having a rough day. And I think it also spreads out play time. It also like motivates people to play well in practice. Because won't lie, I've had
yeah,
teammates.
absolutely,
I had a teammate who was like at college, who was like he was the best player on our team, but he never practiced, and it pissed me off because like he would do okay, but it's like come on, if you're able to play more often, it would be matter. It would you be we'd be so much better as a team. But like I love what you guys
right,
are doing over there. So like really I like yeah, the spreadsheet sometimes things work, sometimes no don't. But like I love your approach to like the game and approach to like making it a team because like really there's a lot of like good relationships I'm assuming being formed on this group just based on like how you're talking about it.
Yeah.
yeah. Also, I there's some speculation going on in my team's chat right now. I did not cough. I just when Spicy said he had a spreadsheet tracking the results of every single of who played better at one tracks, I was reminded of Chris making the Google form this week for that exact same thing, and
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
something so funny about that because the guy who I was talking about, who has that spreadsheet, who has that entire program, is also named Chris. So it's just hilarious that it
Oh,
works out like
really?
that.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've
Well,
met him
maybe it's
before.
pre-programmed.
That's crazy. Maybe it's just a Chris thing at this point.
Yeah.
yeah. Um. We also have some secret technology Chris cooked up for us that we're going to be using going forward to figure out to better strategize how we're going to play in each race. That's interesting. I say secret technology. It's like a program, but it's going to be interesting.
There's too many parallels. It's like
It's like
this is crazy. This is crazy. Oh my gosh.
it's purely a statistical thing though. It's not like yeah.
I was joking earlier on stream about yeah analytics in Mario Kart, but I'm like, you know what? We're at that point already. I didn't think it would happen this year. I thought it would be further down the line, but yeah, it's too late now. We're already going into analytics now, and it's going to be spearheaded by people named Chris.
hmm hmm
Okay, next question. Okay, so you guys are having a great season. You guys are currently positioned to not only like make playoffs, but I think you guys are going to be one of the teams fighting for that championship. What's the mindset like for your team like going knowing that you're in contending status at this point and like what's it like for you guys like as the regular season ends as you approach playoffs?
Oh shit. I mean, Miles, you can answer this one honestly, but I'll take it if you want me to.
Um, I I guess I'll answer it the way that I would see it. The mindset originally for the team was just to have fun. We didn't really intend to win any tournaments or to like perform particularly well. We just wanted to have fun and play because like there's I don't know, there's not like a ton of people that play Mario Kart like really, really well. And seeing how we're doing right now, I think we're definitely going to practice a little harder. And the shift is going a little bit away from just for fun and because we're seeing how good we're doing. Um, but I think our mindset is let's practice a little more. Let's actually like get to our best and kind of see how this goes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking about it very similarly at this point because we're all very competitive people. I like to say we're the dork team. All of us are very nerdy. We're very into everything we do. We're very passionate about it, whether it's academics or Mario Kart. So we, I, I love the direction we're going in, and I think like with how we've been doing lately, because all we're trying to do is just maximize the potential of every player, right? And thus maximize the potential of the team as a whole. So we're just going to try to keep practicing, and that's part of joining Mario Kart Central in the off season too. Is we're going to try to really see if we can compete at a higher level, figure out what we can do better, because we're looking at even going into even beyond playoffs. We're looking at a potentially more difficult season next year, and so or potentially difficult next season, and so we're just trying to prepare for the future constantly, improving our lineup, improving everybody, even like people who don't usually start. We're trying to make sure everybody makes improvements incrementally, because even if you're not the current, even if you're not currently on our main squad, you have the potential everybody has the potential to be on it in the future if they want to. But thinking more short term for the playoffs, right? We're on a good streak. We got to keep it up. But I'm very hopeful that our team is capable. I absolutely think we're up to the task, especially seeing our results as of late. Like, what was it against UNL? We didn't have a single player drop below 82. That's the kind of consistency we're looking for, right? Where all of us, every player on the team is doing well, and same against EIU, nobody was below 81. What else? Against FIU, well, that one wasn't as consistent, but I think that was a tire day for us. But yeah, we're all just trying to improve the team collectively, because I think if we get a match against Iona, right, where our worst is doing above 70 or above 75, that's pretty much an automatic win, right? I don't think we're going to be able to pull that against Iona, but if we do, because we have the talent, we're capable of doing it. We just we got to have a good race. We all have got to have a good day. And so, as you're talking about earlier on stream, this match against Iona this week, and against CSUF to a lesser extent, they're integral. How is that pronounced? Is it an integral or integral? Whatever.
Integral.
Okay,
Integral.
they're integral to us being able to succeed in the playoffs, right? Because the way I see it right now is if UAH, right, stays in like third, like top of their conference, but still like we beat UAH earlier on. If we can pass up Iona and become first in our conference, then we play UAH, who is arguably significantly easier than Iona in the first round. And so we're trying to make as deep of a run as possible, regardless of whether it's, even if we just make it to the playoffs, or I'm getting more integral clarifications in my DMs right now. But if we can make it to the playoffs, like even if we win the first round, that's just an excellent result for us. Because going into the season, we had no idea what we were doing. But if we win it all, right, which I think we absolutely have the talent capable of doing it, that's ideal. We're aiming for the win here, obviously, and I think we're absolutely capable of it.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Like looking at how you guys, especially after last week, I think you guys are it's you and Iona, I would be honest, as like the favorites of the division, and it's great because like if I had the playoff rules right, you would probably whoever's first seed in your conference ends up playing what's probably going to end up being UNI is what I'm thinking because UAH being
Right.
whoever wins the other conference kind of gets like not really a bye, but they get the like second seed automatically. So so no matter what's happening is that you will probably have to if you play Iona in playoffs, it will be in finals, which will be like insane. And I think
Yeah.
it could go either way. Both teams are playing well. You guys are playing like crazy. Like I remember just looking at the tables like when every player is scoring above 80, there's just that kind of consistency is so rare like anywhere honestly like even like on good days there are times where teams are still gonna have a player dropping like a 60 dropping a 50 and getting a hard carry but having everyone on the team be as consistent as you guys are is just really incredible really props and credit to you guys for really for quick development so early on especially considering this league is like a month old in terms of like the season.
Yeah, yeah. We really appreciate it, and we're very. I think both Miles and I are, and everybody on the team actually is just super happy about how well we've all been doing. Because
Mhm.
nobody's had like some horrible Mogi. I think the worst. Well, I think I want to say the worst Mogi we've ever had. Period. Was I think I dropped 61 in one, and that's it. That's the worst we've ever done. And I know a lot of a lot of that's like a very high minimum. So and then coming from me too, like the fact that I was doing so poorly early in the season, and now I'm starting to like become really competitive against these teams. You saw in the scrim against Iona, like if you extrapolate it out, like both me and Michelle, we weren't even we like everybody on our team is absolutely capable of dropping 105, 110 on a given day. Because I've seen it. Every single player on our roster has in a full match, and I think or nearly has. But yeah, we honestly, I'm still so astounded at how deep our roster is. Because I would contend I think we might have the deepest roster in D3, if not the deepest roster besides House Divided in VT among D3 and D2. Because we are just that consistent, like yeah, I don't know.
No, I completely agree. Like looking at your roster as the season's developed, I have you as you're basically the house divided of D3. You're the Peach State of I would compare you to Peach State in D1 where it's like their biggest strength on your team is that everyone feels like anyone can go off at any point. Every player is just so consistent. Like there's no weak
Yeah,
links in your starting lineup, which is very rare. Like I remember like even like when I played, there's definitely like if 61 was like my worst score ever, I would kill for that honestly. Cause like I remember dropping like 40s and 50s before in like tournament matches just because like well one, sometimes I'm just stuck bagging. Sometimes but otherwise it's just like having a rough day. So it's like really good stuff from you guys. So really happy to hear it. I'm gonna go into like one more question then before we wrap things up here. So you talked about it a bit before, but what are the goals for your program going into like not just this season, the end of the season, but like in the future, this year and future years?
Miles.
Uh, yeah. So right now we're working on becoming a varsity team, and we're going to start fundraising and attending community events. We hope to eventually start like doing some. I guess it is community service. Doing some community service for a children's hospital nearby, and we're just trying to like both improve our gameplay and also give back, fundraise. Um, I think that's our goal for now. And and it is kind of crazy. Me and William were talking about this yesterday that this team was founded just a month ago, and it's we're still trying to like get our foundations down and really get things together.
Yeah.
But we're shooting for varsity right now.
Yeah. And I think more on the game side of it, even excluding like obviously esports, we want to become varsity just so we have the access to those resources and we become more established. We can fundraise stuff like that, especially for the upcoming Switch too. But on the game side of it, we're really trying to look at becoming next season. We're gonna try to be good in D2. And I know with House Divided being split up, that might not be as difficult as it would be this season. But we're trying to constantly develop our talent. And I know we are looking at becoming a very good team in the future. And so that's what I want. That's our number one focus as a team, long term, is just keeping our shit together and creating an environment where our roster can develop to the point that we can contend at the level of significantly better teams today.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Very good goals, both from the in-game perspective and from the overall program thing. I relate to both of those. Both want to see like my like overall esports program grow when I was in college, and then also like trying to get the team to be the best as you can be. I think you guys are gonna have a bright future, at least in this league, in CMKL, wherever we're gonna call it after rebranding, and then going forward, like yeah, D2 for sure. I think depending on like how we divide up the divisions and all that is definitely something you'll be a very big threat to watch out there. So really excited to see what you guys do. But yeah, thank you again for hopping on for this interview. Sorry that it was like really scuffed in the beginning, but like yeah, thank you again. Is there anyone you want to shout out before you head off?
Miles, you can go ahead with this one. I think we have a couple names in common we want to shout out.
Uh, Probably Taikadesa, Michelle.
Yeah.
And I mean our entire team, but specifically Michelle. She's been pretty integral to the creation of this team and everything else.
Yeah. Michelle was because we are all freshmen, neither Miles nor I were involved with the staff side of our esports club at all. And so it was really me and Miles talking to Michelle, like, hey, do you know where we can get started with this? And she was the first person to talk to the actual esports staff here. And she was like, hey, we want to get a team started. And so she takes full credit for getting the ball rolling for us throughout the entirety of September. Yeah, Michelle, she wanted to be here today, but evidently I didn't. She wanted to be here today, and I'm hoping if we do an interview later on in the season, she can be on. That's absolutely ideal because she is absolutely she's one of our staff. She is integral to our team. Yeah, I also want to shout out our team. Obviously, playing so incredibly and putting up with the insane amount of scheduling BS throughout the entire first month. That was crazy. Especially, I also want to shout out Harsh Golden for literally just letting me straight up use his apartment to play in the Halloween tournament. That was awesome of him. I also want to shout out Moog, obviously, for he's got us a space, he's got us that organization that we rely on for the entirety of we rely on him in the esports program he's built here for so much. Just our space, our internet. He literally provided us with the hotspot we needed since Mario Kart does not work at all on our campus Wi-Fi. Yeah. Also, no, yeah, I think that's everything.
Well, that's it then. Well, thank you again for coming on. Good luck to you the rest of the season. I hope to watch you guys in playoffs at some point. And yeah, gonna be rooting for you and a lot of the other teams. But yeah, once again, just thank you for coming on here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. Well, shit, I wish we could get the playoff streamed. I think we might be able to. That'll be awesome. But yeah, see you. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yep, of course. Have a good one, guys. Good luck with your matches this week.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, this stream has gone almost 3 hours, so we're gonna decide to end things here today. Thank you guys again for coming on, though. gonna quick raid someone. But yeah, we're gonna have the same thing again probably next week. Hopefully, going into playoffs, we got a lot of crazy stuff coming up. So yeah, thank you again for tuning in. Sorry that things are a bit more scuffed this time, but hope to see you guys in the future for future streams, and then get some more people talking from the community. But yeah, overall, once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope to see you guys soon. Yep, got a quick raid rookie, one of the best players, one of the best people in the community, honestly. So feel free to watch him as he's doing Creator Clash as well right now. So make sure you guys tune into that. But thank you. Thank you from me, and that'll be it for me tonight.